Worship extends beyond the ministry into our personal lives, particularly within the home. If you're married, note how you and your mate can continue working together as a team to maintain a happy marriage.
With so much that needs to get done in a day, every day, married couples can struggle to work together. This often leads to separate game plans. To truly be one flesh, a couple needs to work together as a team. And every team needs to have a goal. Your goal should be to have a loving relationship, not just a lasting one.
But is that the only goal for Jehovah's Witnesses who are married? I think we've just seen in that segment, or we've actually seen the first half of the segment, we've seen that there are many, many goals for married Jehovah's Witnesses that could put a serious strain on the relationship. Look how busy these people are with all of the expectations that the organization, that the congregation demands of them. That part where the notifications were going off, and one of them was Kingdom Hall Maintenance Training Day. So when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you take it in turns on like a group basis. So the congregation gets divided into groups, and each group takes it in turns to clean the Kingdom Hall. Apparently that's not organized enough. They need to have a special day for training people on how to clean the Kingdom Hall. And that's exactly the sort of mind-numbing thing I can remember having to do. You think about being a Jehovah's Witness and you assume it's just going to meetings and doing the preaching work, which is demanding enough. But there's always something extra. There's always some other task that needs to be done. I can remember in my congregation, we used to have this requirement where there was a rota of congregations, and each congregation had to send 2 young men to act as security guards for our assembly hall, and that involved staying up all through the night. So because the organization obviously wasn't going to pay for its own security, and they had an inexhaustible well of volunteers at their disposal, it meant that every now and then I had to just go for an entire night without sleep, because I was one of the people that was doing this, just sitting in a hut next to this assembly hall, trying to amuse myself all through the night, to keep a building safe, to keep some real estate safe. That's the sort of mind-numbing, monotonous stuff that you are expected, demanded in many cases, to do as a Jehovah's Witness. Of course it's going to put a strain on marriages, but quite frankly, if we're talking about the complexities of married life, I'm pretty sure there are marriages that succeed without being in a cult. If anything, I think that being in a cult and the demands of being in a cult will put more strain on a marriage than if the couple were just able to focus on themselves and on getting through life.
When marriage mates aren't teammates, disagreements can turn into fierce competition. To illustrate this point, imagine arguments are like a couple playing tennis against each other. Only one person can win. But if you change your mindset from thinking, what do I want, to what do we want, then you're thinking as a team, and you're able to overcome the problem and win together. Once you have the team mindset, how do you work together as a team practically? Ask Jehovah God for His guidance and to bless your efforts to work together on the issue at hand. As you pray, talk to Jehovah about your shared desire to have a happier marriage. Talk to each other. Discuss your strong points and where you're not so strong, and see where you can better support your partner. Create a plan together that you can both work toward. When you think, what do we want, instead of what do I want? And you pray, discuss your roles, and make a plan, you can have a happy marriage as a team. Take a moment, pause the video, and ask each other these 3 questions. Remember, share your honest feelings and openly express how you both feel.
We can be confident that when we do things Jehovah's way, we'll experience the best results possible.
The best results possible. You'll get the best results possible, apparently, if you're married, if you're a Jehovah's Witness. I mean, goodness knows what's going on in the marriages of the billions of people who aren't Jehovah's Witnesses. They're just in flames, aren't they? That list was interesting. Questions to consider. In what areas of our marriage do we work well as a team? Well, that's going to, I guess, change depending on the couple. And then that second question, in what areas could we improve? I think all Jehovah's Witness couples could improve by getting out of a cult. I'm just going to say it, folks. I mean, that just seems to be the glaring problem. And it made me chuckle when they were showing, again, all of the ritualistic things that Jehovah's Witnesses are expected to do. It showed them doing public witnessing, showed them doing Kingdom Hall maintenance training day, which sounds like tons of fun. And then it showed them playing basketball, and it said Sunday fun day. And I was just watching thinking, what universe is this where Jehovah's Witnesses get to have a fun day on Sunday. Sunday is never a fun day for your typical Jehovah's Witness. I mean, I don't know what the Kingdom Hall kind of congregation sharing schedule is, but usually if a congregation has its own Kingdom Hall, the Sunday is for the meeting. After the meeting, they typically do ministry. So even on a Sunday, which should be a fun day, there's some expectation to get out of bed at the right time when all other families are just enjoying themselves and relaxing. You have to be putting on your suit and tie or putting on your best clothes, making sure you look immaculate, making sure your beard is neatly trimmed, and getting yourself to this Kingdom Hall. And then afterwards, you feel really guilty if you're not one of the ones involved in preaching. Maybe it's changed since I was a Jehovah's Witness. Maybe it's not as stressful anymore. But yeah, just a reminder really of, I guess, all of the hurdles and impediments that Jehovah's Witness couples face that certainly don't make it easier to get through a marriage. If anything, they unquestionably make it harder.